Maximilian Höger. I'm working for Syntax, and I want to present you today how we get from dough to data, and with IoT we power digital transformation in the food industry. Basically, before we are starting to speak about the technical aspect, I want to go with you over the agenda. And basically, because we are wanting to use IoT in the baking industry, I want to start with the defrosting. First of all, I want to introduce the partners. After that, we want to go over to the preheating. So I want to start with the analogy behind what we did over there. Then we will go over to the baking, so the challenges we face prior to the IoT implementation. After that, we want to go over to the serving. And at the end, we want to start with the eating, so the business impact and the results from the project itself. Before we go on with the analogy, I want to speak a little bit about our customer. The customer itself is a leading player in the premium food manufacturing industry and is known for its commitment to deliver authentic and high-quality products and food. Their core values are, first of all, they are really authentic, so what they are producing is a really high-quality product with a traditional preparation paired with modern technologies, and they are really focused on the quality of the product and the ingredients what they're using for the products at the end. And when we met with a customer the first time, they are already on their digital journey, and they utilize IoT and advanced analytics to optimize and modernize the production shop floor. And with that, they want to improve the operational efficiencies through real-time insights and proactive monitoring. That's about the customer. And to go on with the analogy, I want to start basically when I'm thinking and speaking about an IoT project, it's quite easy for me to refer for like preparing a meal. And preparing a meal for me is like the overall same analogy in IoT projects. It all starts with the ingredients basically. So when you're having a meal, it's the same reference what you're having basically in the IoT world. So when you're having a meal, you have all the ingredients, you're taking care of that, you're taking the best ingredients for your meal at the end. And that's the same with the services you're using to build your IoT platform, your IoT services, your IoT architecture. You should take care of that all your ingredients and the services you're taking are built together, then afterwards that they are fitting. Then you have a recipe, how to put the ingredients together, how many ingredients, what kind of ingredients, how to connect the ingredients, when to take the ingredients inside your meal, and that's the same when you're doing an IoT implementation. So you need an IoT strategy to get the best product out with the ingredients you're having basically. And the meal for me is like the digital factory architecture with an IoT project. It's not just basically the services you're using, we are always thinking about the whole picture, so that you're having at the end the shop floor part, so what kind of sensors you're using, what devices you're having there, what industrial equipments you're basically having, how you're connecting the industrial equipments, and at the end, what kind of services you're using in the background to let the data flow through the system. So the whole picture for me is like the meal. Everything is finished and cooked. And to prepare this, of course, you need a chef. And the chef ensures that all the data and the services are interacting together at the end. So when you're preparing a food, the chef is taking care of that all the ingredients are put together in the correct way. And when we are speaking about an IoT project, the chef is like an enterprise architect or a solution architect who takes care that all of the services you're using from whatever part are fitted so together that at the end you have the best picture and the best architecture at the end. Said to that, the starting point of all was that our customer identified the need for Industry 4.0, and this all happened. The first contact with our customer were happening here on the AWS booth 2 years ago, where we first met with our customer. And like I said, our customer was already on the journey to they already had an IoT journey and did already create the architecture and everything around, and needed a partner to support them on their journey. So they already defined their goals as well. So they want to have a higher quality, efficiency, they want to have real-time insights, and they want to have a strategic partner to help them build their AWS architecture and improve their AWS architecture, what they have so far. And before of that, they had some challenges. And one of the main challenges was they had operational inefficiencies in the production process. they had really high load of manual processes what they need to do to produce the product. This lead to a lack of real-time data for decision making, basically. So they were producing the goods, then they had the end product, and then they realized that something was not right in the production process, and then they had to rework the parts or have to scrap the parts because they had a lack of insights in the production process. And based on this, they had an impact on the customer satisfaction and the quality itself due to inefficiencies, and this lead to waste and delays and reduced customer satisfaction at the end. When we started with the customer together and the IoT project, it was really clear for us and the customer that the IoT in this use case ensures that every process is connected, monitored, and optimized in real time for the customer. And for that, we have several key components on the shop floor. First of all, of course, we have the sensors, and the sensors in this case are like the taste testers. So they are taking care and checking if everything is just right. Then we have the devices, this is like the kitchen tools for mixing, baking, and monitoring what is happening around. And then we have the connectivity, so this is like the kitchen chatter, which are synchronized everything from dough prep to delivery, more or less. And at the end, what we are having is like we are having an architecture picture, which was like that the customer did already decide that he wants to connect his industrial equipment via MQTT. So this was clear for the customer that the communication between the industrial equipment and AWS will happen with MQTT protocol. And based on that, the customer did already start with selecting and implementing AWS services in their AWS tenant. And what we were doing with the customer together is we were doing like, we did the best, the well-architected review together with AWS and us, and had a look at the customer architecture. So it was, the customer did already things on the shop floor and on AWS, and when we joined the project, we analyzed what the customer has done so far, supported the customer, how to improve the current architecture, improve the CI/CD pipeline, improved how the machines are connecting with, speaking with each other. So it was more or less a consulting project where the customer did already start with the project, and we supported the customer together to get the best out of the ingredients and services the customer did already choose. And for that, we used the strategy together with the customer. So first of all, we need to prepare the kitchen. And to prepare the kitchen in the IoT project is like the sensor integration. So first of all, the customer integrated all the sensors into all production stage and decided that they need to capture time, temperature, humidity, and material flow to get insights in the production process. And they totally replaced all the manual data collection pieces with digital capture of all the information on the shop floor. After we got all the data, we could start with watching the oven. And watching the oven is, of course, real-time monitoring. So we got all the digital data from the sensors, from the machines connected in AWS, basically. And this were the starting point to get deviation triggers immediately with alerts based on the production process which was happening on the shop floor. And this ensures consistency and reduced, of course, human errors. After we had the chance to watch the oven and did the real-time monitoring, we could really start with predictive analytics. So we started with data analytics to identify trends and reveal inefficiencies, basically. So for that, we supported the customer on our side. With the tools the customer decided, with the visualization tools, how we could extract the data out of the architecture the customer is having. We guided him, and then the customer did the next step to take care of how we can then visualize the data for the shop floor workers. So it was always in parallel. The customer told us what he wants to see, and we helped him to get on the right track, and then the customer did take care how to visualize the data at the end. So it was more or less always in parallel that we supported the customer at the end. And with that, we were able to prevent breakdowns before they happened and improve the throughput and minimize the downtimes overall. and the output of the overall project, what we did with the customer. So one of the most important things when we're speaking about IoT is basically that we get direct adjustments in minutes instead of hours. So basically, when we are speaking of disconnected industry devices, disconnected processes, manual data collection, it's always a problem that you're producing a good. At the end, you have a bad product, and then you're doing an analytics. Where did the problem happen? Which was the problem? And then you have to think about how to remove the problem. When you get all the data from the shop floor at the real time, you can detect the error before it will happen at the end and adjust it directly, and either manual or automatic if you have a feedback loop into the machines itself. With that, we have decreased the production downtimes by 30% at the end. Due to the automated monitoring and control, enhanced faster production cycles at the end. And one of the most important things from the customer was the waste reduction by 20%. So we are here in the food industry, and the problem here is that a non-good product is at the end, if it's too big, if there are too many ingredients on the meal, if the product has the wrong color, if there is any small deviation of the product is more or less waste and needs to be and can't be delivered to the supermarket at the end. And with the insights which we were gathering in real time, we can prevent that these errors are happening even before. And based on this, I just want to speak about why the customer choose us, Syntax. Like I said before, the first customer contact was here on the Hannover Messe 2 years ago at the AWS booth. And the customer is not only doing the IoT, they also want to send the data back into the ERP system. So it was really important that we, from the consulting side, are also capable of understanding the ERP processes the customer is currently working on and support an end-to-end from the machine to the ERP level fully. And with our experience, we enabled him to have predictive maintenance as well on the data which he was collecting. Then he searched for a partner which has a digital transformation experience, and we provided a proven track record for the food industry and the digital transformation, what we have done before in other projects. We have a lot of industrial IoT skills. So Syntax, the company itself, we were former Freudenberg IT, so it's a manufacturing company. So a lot of our consultants were working in a manufacturing environment as well, and are having a really good experience and knowledge about how processes are working in the manufacturing world and as well on the IoT side. And the last one is, it was a perfect match. So the customer itself was the domain expert on this side and told us from the consulting side what kind of problems he was facing, and we were taking care that we from the architecture side support him that he gets the best out of the ingredients and services he had chosen, and connected them together that he fulfills or that he get away with all the problems he was facing. And at the end, the conclusion is, so with the IoT project, it boosts the efficiency, cuts waste, and ensures quality, and which is the key to staying competitive. And if we have a look at again to the analogy I'm using, first of all, when you're preparing a meal in a small, for yourself, for example, it's always a lot of manual effort, and you can change the recipe based on your manual inputs. For example, if you have to put a little bit more water inside, it's quite easy for you. But if you scale up the process, it's quite hard to get track about every step of the process. And that's why we need a more data-driven approach, where the chef is, for example, not always taking care of just the product itself for the preparation. He has to take care of what kind of processes are running in the background, how to improve the processes, get real insights into it. And we see IoT as a driver for innovation and digital excellence at the shop floor, especially in the food market. So with all of that, I would say thank you, first of all. And if you have any questions, we are at the AWS booth at booth 43, and feel free to ask questions if there are some, or start discussions around IoT and your ongoing project and your help you're maybe needing. With that said, thank you very much.